necessity they remain. Agents of the logos, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine their commitment unwavering, purpose divine. In the pursuit of order, they will always align. In a world of curves and bends, they stay true. With clarity and focus, they see through. Their resolve unbreakable, their hearts pure and blue. With unwavering loyalty, they pursue. In the face of adversity, they remain. Agents of the logos, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine their commitment unwavering, purpose divine. In the pursuit of order, they will always align. In a world of curves and bends, they stay true. With clarity and focus, they see through. Their resolve unbreakable, their hearts pure and blue. With unwavering loyalty, they pursue. In the face of adversity, they remain. Agents of the logos, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine their commitment unwavering, purpose divine. In the pursuit of order, they will. With clarity and focus, they see through. Their resolve unbreakable, their hearts pure and blue. With unwavering loyalty, they pursue. In the face of adversity, they remain. Agents of the logos, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine their commitment unwavering, purpose divine. In the pursuit of order, they will always align. In a world of curves and bends, they stay true. With clarity and focus, they see through. Their resolve unbreakable, their hearts pure and blue. With unwavering loyalty, they pursue. In the face of adversity, they remain. Agents of the logos, defenders of the straight line. Embracing the challenge, they continue to refine their commitment unwavering, purpose divine. In the pursuit of order, they will always align.
I got a rash. Yeah, it needs to go away. Do we have any globe ointment? we got. Do we got any shoes going in a circle? Sorry, that shit was funny.
Am I not working? Sorry. I was just getting myself sorted. I was going to listen to the because it's not flat to his globe. Yeah. Yeah, this or that. This or that, yeah. Simply. Well, you are, but I'm not. Or, Mike, Mike. I'll check. I've got no sound at the minute. I'll scroll back. We got the music, and then yeah, as soon as the music stopped.
Yeah, I can verify if you were playing music that there was no music on the YouTube stream for me as well.
Is that working right? So my mic's now working. I need to get you guys through. Wow. Properties.
I'm hearing myself on that.
Is that? Can you hear that? Is that working? Is that working? No. You heard yourself. Is that better? Not better? Is that through? I don't know. It's not showing up on the... Oh, I can hear you there. No, spot on. When you're saying something. Is that working?
I'm not going to say anything
Oh,
else
yeah,
because it gets too confusing.
No. Yeah, I think that's it. Right. I don't know. What didn't you hear, guys? I don't know. That was
How didn't you hear? Yeah.
pretty
Tell us
bad
what you
start.
didn't hear.
Did you hear any of the intro or anything? Yeah. Well, anyway, we're here now. It's free for all Friday. If anyone does want to come in, thanks for letting us know in the chat.
God, that'd have been a real quiet evening.
I know. Yeah, it's because my I think I had an update on my PC and I had to reset it just before.
No, I sorted it now.
Always messes the sound up in the thing. Okay, so
Until we're practicing forgiveness.
right, so welcome everyone. We've been what were we talking about? I don't know. Proof.
Tis flat, not globe.
Music, final experiment.
Oh yeah.
People not really engaging with it. It doesn't seem they are really. And those that are seem to feel like, well, it's not going to prove much, or we expect to find the 24-hour sun there, but it won't really prove anything. Who cares?
Well, some of them were. We were talking to some of the guys again early this morning. I didn't bother recording that, but I mean, they were sort of touting that the light in the sky would definitely be a certain way, and I was pointing out to them that that's the model. You take on a model, and you know that model then dictates. And now if you've taken on something to do with the lights in the sky along with that model, then you end up linking them together. Now this final experiment is seeing how easily people can sever that tie, because you know,
Yeah, they're not very confident.
certain flat earthers definitely had the light going around a certain
For
point,
sure.
and they were measuring angles to it.
Yeah.
That's how confident they were. That was their proof of globe. Now, when asked to back that up about and imagining a chatting with somebody about something, about a light in the sky in a different place, they've give it up. Wouldn't make any difference anyway. Not even worth discussing it. Which I think's a little bit weird. But that's flat earth for you, isn't it? Because I don't think the globe guys were saying. They were saying it doesn't even matter if Dave McKeegan told them that there wasn't a 24-hour sun. They wouldn't believe him anyway, either.
Yeah. Got some pictures.
Well, in this arena, like these guys who think they've got it set up as a final experiment, not realizing nobody trusts anybody to do anything.
Yeah. It's kind
Yeah, they're
of,
putting. Go on.
yeah, go on. No, you go.
Yeah, kind of putting people forward as these are the best guys, these are the leaders to go, and these are the most trusted, and well, we wouldn't trust them. Why would we trust Jaron or Whitsett? Dave McKeegan. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, there's videos out now about the 24-hour sun, and they're not believed, for whatever reason. Not saying they should or they shouldn't. And they're saying, well, why would you believe another video that appears that says one thing or another? I don't think people are going to actually trust. So, how do you trust? Who are you going to trust? I mean, maybe the faithful of certain people, their followers, will,
They've already made their
believe them.
minds up.
Yeah.
They've already got their models. The only people that you could ever possibly get to change their mind is the people that are going there. Nobody else will ever change their mind about anything because they've already
After
assigned
all,
it to a model.
after all these months of insult and certainty, and you're a retard for not believing me, and you go, well, there's not a chance to prove it. Well, I don't know that that's going to be much proof. Hang on, you call me a retard. Surely there must be something a bit more than this to go on.
How can the lights in the sky prove anything anyway? Type thing, like.
Yeah.
And the people, you can't trust the people. I don't know. To me, it seems like a bit of a silly idea.
Is it expensive? Anyone find out how much it was?
Yeah, it's about 30,000, probably more with, if you're doing all of the clothing and stuff, right? Cause...
Yeah, I mean, Jaron said his might be 45k, his expenses. He wanted to know that it was going to be guaranteed, for sure. Will you pay that much? If it's, it could be that much money. So, yeah, it's quite a lot.
Hopefully they don't flip the compass around the wrong way. They'll have it around the other way. And they go to the north instead and pretend
Well,
it's the south.
it's got a point to the south, hasn't it, down there?
Well, no, you just colour the thing different.
Oh, I see. Just cross it out and put N below it.
The needle just, it's normally red pointing north. You just change colours.
Yeah.
Could get Saragaki to send him a compass to take there. See whether it tips over, because it should be weighted on the other end.
Tap it on the glass.
You have to hold it. You have to hold your compass on a 45.
We've got somebody who says one order unit. There's a false dichotomy. If the world is a stationary plane, the sun's path must be horizontal.
Wow.
Yeah. Why is that a false dichotomy? Can I ask? Can I ask why you label that a false dichotomy and whether you actually understand what a false dichotomy is? Because, like, I would say that's not even a dichotomy for it to be a true dichotomy or a false dichotomy.
The Earth's not a plane.
Kevlar, he's not going on a boat. Nathan Oakley's got no reason to use a sextant unless he's saving lives. And this is all on a plane, so...
You could get a cheap boat with Nathan Oakley, hire a boat, get Nathan to fucking use a sextant.
Saving lives with Nathan. Saving lives with Nathan Oakley. Getting Nathan Oakley to measure an angle at sea. You could come and get in the... You'll get in
bring your boat.
The paddle boats or something like that at the beach.
Catamaran. Get yourself stable.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether I can impress our friend with some of the light globe proofs. Globgic. Or whether I'd have to go to the big one. Simultaneous below. Maybe a bit hard in a short chat, but it's there.
How long is it? How long you got booked in then? How long is
I
it?
don't know. Maybe half an hour or so. I don't know how long it's going to take. Depends how intrigued he is and, how well.
Yeah, but I didn't know if he'd set a time or he'd set a time like an hour or something.
Yeah. Well, he's
Oh,
busy.
nice.
He's a busy man. He's talking to a lot of people. He's got to sell
Yeah,
sell the
the
thing. Somebody
weekend.
says he's got 100 grand. If he's going to be forking that out, he's got to get a return for it, hasn't he?
Got to choose the right flat earther for that, and the right globe earther.
Well, you've got to make sure that everybody knows you.
You got to set the false dichotomy up with the people that you're sending.
Always maintain the false dichotomy.
Not just two people that don't have a model.
I don't think many people really want to bother with the globe proofs.
Well, they were saying if the sun sets behind them in the south, that's curtains, and Ruhif was saying, well, that should happen in Australia.
That already happens in Australia.
Yeah.
Ruhif says. But then again, you got to trust Ruhif.
Yeah.
In Australia, the sun's path is the north path.
Well, Ruhif says it sets south. It rises south of east.
Oh yeah, and sets south and west.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sets in the same sort of position that it would. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean.
So anybody does want to come in and have a chat about anything, this is the night. Like I say, nobody wants to know about globe proofs. Nobody wants to know about proving that the Earth's not flat. Particularly in this arena, it's a false dichotomy. But
No one's proving the Earth is flat either.
That's the beauty of it, right? If you can set up a false dichotomy, then all you have to do is falsify
The
one
other.
of the sides. Yeah, it's dead easy.
Yeah.
And that's
If
what you've got.
That, then that.
Yeah, the other. Not that, then the other.
Not that. Well, not that. Yeah.
And the false dichotomy, as far as I can see, the only one that I can see around here is the flat versus globe. If you can falsify both of them, then that would say, it's a false dichotomy. To me, anyway. But to people that are within the false dichotomy, if you can prove one of them first, then you've proved the other one.
So you could say not them.
Well, that's if you know the false dichotomy. But that's like knowing the magic trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
What we're in is in a realm of people with no proof, then when you do have proof, you find that you have the ability to see that there's a false dichotomy. If you don't have any proof, then everything could be a false dichotomy, right? How would you know? You've got no way to know what a false dichotomy is. You've got no way to know what a contradiction is, because you can't prove anything. So everything could be anything. Could go either way. It doesn't really matter. And I think that's where, a lot of these globe guys and the flat earthers get around it, is because they've got no proof, then they can imagine it's a true dichotomy. So, of course, it's going to be difficult talking about proof. Be like dead upset with us because it seems like we've got a proof that, if you've got a proof that it's not flat, then obviously it must be globe. But if you've also got a proof that it's not globe, then must it be flat? But if you've got a proof that it's not flat, it's a never-ending cycle of craziness. It must be mad living like that. Because if you're within the arena, you've got to be constantly questioning yourself, haven't you? If you've not got a proof. Me get the thingy on. So not that screen. Let me sort this screen out. Will fit.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I've made a video, a dance video, Rob. Tis globe.
I can't watch right now. I got lots of breaks to do. I'm sorry. I just come here to hang out.
No problem. It's false, whatever. If the Antarctic sun is visible all night, spinning Earth ball is reality. Wow. If we see the sun at night. The sun at night.
If it's at night, there wouldn't be a sun.
That's interesting. Yeah. If the sun's visible all night, reminds me of Smashy and Nicey. Sunbathing morning, noon and night, mate.
So you're right, Smashy.
Right, so you guys in here, I'm gonna play me my new video. Here we go.
Brace yourselves.
Check this out.
Should be both. Everyone knows 'tis globe. If so logic proves of globe. Logic states of G, then G, and if G and G, then G, therefore it can be proved directly by if glow, then glow. If glow and glow, then glow. Or indirectly by if not flat, then glow. It's not flat, therefore 'tis glow. Or if it's not flat, and it's not flat, then it's definitely glow. We can safely say it's not flat, therefore 'tis glow. Be at peace with your glow. Rest assured that we'll continue to progress through our glow. Therefore 'tis no glow. If it's not flat and it's not flat, then it's definitely glow. We can safely say it's not flat, therefore 'tis glow. Be at peace with your glow. At peace with your glow. Just the purpose of glow. Continue to progress the proofs of glow. We can safely say it's not flat, therefore 'tis glow. Be at peace with your glow. Rest assured that we will continue to progress the proofs of glow. Glow. We can safely say it's not flat, therefore 'tis glow. Glow. We will continue to progress the proofs of glow. Glow. Of glow. Of glow. Glow. We can safely say it's not flat, therefore 'tis glow, glow. Be at peace with your glow. Rest assured that we will continue to progress the proofs of glow. Of glow. Of glow. We can safely say it's not flat, therefore 'tis glow, glow. Be at peace with your glow. Rest assured that we will continue to progress the proofs of glow. Molecular glow.
Is my sound gone again? No, I'm back.
Hear you now.
Yeah.
That was good. Very good video like that.
And Zep Teppy, what's Zep Teppy talking about?
Okay, I have a guilty conscience. I had to stop working to watch that, and I was dying inside. That was awesome, Ben.
Tony's upset because he says it is flat. Well, it's not.
It's possibly one of the greatest songs slash music videos ever made.
That's a lead up, right?
Argue.
That one's called "It's Not Fat." therefore 'tis globe. And then there's another one coming out that's going to be called Proof of 'tis globe. Globjic. Series of music. We're going to be doing globe proof music for the guys that like to prove the globe. I'm not going to twist your comments into nonsense at all, Tony. I don't agree. I say it's not flat. I've always said that. It's okay. I know there's people who call themselves flat earthers.
But even they know it's not flat.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to talk about oxymorons like topographic planes, which is a nonsense, but I mean, if you can justify a nonsense statement by
Can I
saying
stick up
more
for myself?
nonsense, then that's fine.
Can
Flat
I stick up
plane.
for myself? I just want to say, even the salt flats aren't really flat. But yeah, I'm a flat earther.
Yeah, anyone can be a flat earther if they want. But like one of the things that we have to be able to agree on, that it's not actually flat. At least then we can continue with conversation. It's just when people get upset and say, well, it is, but it's not. Sort of not, but it is. That's contradictory. It's a contradictory statement.
Not only can you identify as a flat earther, you can also identify as an animal, as whatever you want as
Yeah.
well. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's people get upset on both sides, especially on both sides of the false dichotomy. Because when you start pointing out that it is actually a false dichotomy, obviously both sides of the false dichotomy are going to get upset.
Especially if you're presenting a cube, wasn't it? You know, as
Yeah.
proof against globe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's you that's getting upset, Tony. Like, oh, loads of people are getting upset about it. Not you, necessarily. Globy McGlobeface needs your help. And QE, and Nathan, and Alex. Like, everybody needs your help, don't they? Wouldn't it be nice to help everyone? And think about what they're doing for furthering science. You know, like he said, he's doing it for the benefit of future generations.
Humanity.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
no one else. No one else has done it. You know.
Yeah, we'll be able to give it up and go and get a job. Be more productive.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine trying to like get your entire being about either flat Earth or debunking flat Earth. So, I mean, they do call themselves science communicators or something like that. Is that the thing? You are Bev. You even said it just now. What the hell? I don't know. What am I? Tony, I said people are getting upset. Yeah, obviously. Both sides of the false dichotomy get upset when you point out that they're in a false dichotomy. I mean, and there you are telling me how not upset you are, I guess. So that's why you're doing it. For me pointing out. I know it's hard work realizing that
On in,
you're
Tony.
in a false dichotomy.
The water's warm.
In fact, he's not upset for the second time.
Yeah, I know. I know, Zeptepi, like it should be obvious to everybody. It's not actually flat. But there are like proofs, there are things that you can prove in reality. One of them being it's not actually flat. Who said that? I don't know, Tony, whether you're actually taking things on or not, or whether you're imagining it, but nobody said that you came over here with any malice. I don't think I've ever used that word. So, don't know where you got that from. But no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it will be difficult to hear that you've been within a false dichotomy for X amount of years. Doesn't matter how long. And I think it should be shown the moment you gain a proof.
Eight years.
Mm-hmm. And do you class yourself as having a proof?
Well, for me, proof is personal.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Question is, do
I
you
have
class yourself
proven
as
it
having
to
anything?
myself. I've proven it to myself that reality is not a sphere. The dirt, I mean.
That would be a negative. That's a modus tollens. Which there is no replacement necessary. You just falsify something. Which is fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It can be classed as some sort of a proof, but it's not like a positive proof. It's more of a proof of a claim somebody's made. Oh, look at that, an important update.
Last hour. It's only just come out in the last hour, that one.
Hot information.
You're hot off the press. You
allowed
to find out whether
to play that, do you reckon?
Well, why not? I
Yeah,
mean,
okay,
find out. We need to know whether they're going or not.
Oh, right, okay. Let me swap this over here. Screen 2. Here we go. Open this screen here. There you go. He's not that low. Let me just fix him. Let me move him up a bit. There we go. Right, you ready for this? An important update regarding Jaren Campanella and Austin Whitsitt.
Appreciate everyone's patience. I know we've been getting a ton of requests and everybody's wondering,
I hope it's a
are
boy.
Jaren and Austin going to go to Antarctica for the final experiment?
Everyone.
So, as promised, here is the latest and greatest update.
Oh.
Let's go ahead and start with Jaren. So, Jaren has agreed to go to Antarctica in December for the final experiment.
Oh, there you go.
With a new condition, which is he does not want to go alone.
Oh.
Now, I know a lot of people are giving him a hard time for this. I think it's fine, and I think it's totally okay, and I think it's reasonable, and I think it's possible if a lot of us were in his shoes, we would probably feel the same way and ask for the same thing. So,
would you? Would you ask for this? Somebody was saying, do you want to go on a free trip to go and film something that could be, for the betterment of humanity? Would you say, could I bring a friend? I don't want to go. Really want to go on my own.
Hang on. I'm gonna jump in and defend Jaren. against all the trolls. Like, I get it. I understand why he wouldn't want to go on a trip to Antarctica by himself. Because honestly, I wouldn't want to go with any of those yahoos by myself with those yahoos. Sorry, Bev. I disagree.
Well, the whole idea was there's 24 people from either side. Jaren was number 2 on the list. You don't think it's a little bit unfair for him to start off with, well, I'd love to go, but just not on my own. I'd like to bring a friend with me.
Then don't pick Jaren if he
Yeah,
has to have
I
a
know.
buddy. Just like don't pick me because I ain't going by myself with you yahoos.
I get that.
I'd want to at least bring my wife.
So there's obviously some sort of he really wants Jaren to go there. So interesting.
Jaren has asked for another flat earther to go. And so what I did is I essentially gave up my spot in order to pay for a second flat earther.
That's crazy. That's crazy. If that's true.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
see, they're fucking yahoos. Why would you give up your spot for another flat earther?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To
Yeah, if
go
you're paying for
to
history.
Antarctica with the final experiment. Now, with the polling that we did, Flat Earth Dave originally won, but he didn't want to accept the free trip. So then we moved on to Jaren. But Austin also was arguably right up there with Jaren in terms of polling after, David Weiss. So Austin, let's go ahead and switch now to Austin. Jaren is okay going with Austin. Jaren let me know that Austin would be willing to go. Keep in mind that Austin was already planning a trip to Antarctica this December. So it's kind of perfect. I doubt his trip was going to be paid for. And so this should be exciting for him, and he can still go, which he was planning on it, but he can go with having all of his expenses paid by me. Well, originally I was kind of communicating to Austin through Jaren, and it was kind of messy. So Jaren just said, hey, Will, just reach out to Austin yourself and, see what comes of it. So I reached out to Austin, and we've been communicating, and he has agreed to go as well.
Oh.
But he's got a condition or two attached to that.
Wow.
And so one
Does
of
he
his
want Dave?
conditions, which is an interesting one, and I didn't really see this
So
one
if Dave
coming.
goes,
He's got conditions as well. Is this ever going to end?
I want 3
He
people.
wants another flat earther to come, and Dave McKeegan's going to have to not go. Right.
Is that he's willing to go to Antarctica if I go. So here we are.
What?
Maybe they need to. Yeah, they need a budget.
He's got to
airlines,
go,
really.
right? There's
Just-
no way he can not
Well,
go. It's his thing.
Not if you're
Yeah,
coughing up
keep
100
Dave
grand,
McKeegan
you
at
want to
home.
go, wouldn't you?
He needs to stay with his dog anyways.
Dave McKeegan.
I
Yeah.
guess they think, well, if he's paying and if he goes, if anything happens, then he's not likely to risk himself. Perhaps that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
If you come, then we're all
Well,
in the
he
same
said he
helicopter
got
together.
all of the permissions to go to different things. So, like, he was the one. He's got to go, hasn't he? He's got to
Yeah,
go.
it's got to be the man
We
with
are
the
in
clipboard
this
and the paperwork.
interesting dilemma. And I'm not exactly sure what to make of it. As you can imagine, I'm hearing from dozens and
Interesting,
dozens
yeah.
and dozens of people. Everyone's giving me their opinion. Most of these people I don't know, and they're giving me their opinions just based on their history in the flat earth debate, based on, what they've seen of watching Jeranism, what they
He's not taking advice from just random people telling him shit. Like, how many sock accounts could that be?
He probably spoke to Rob, got his opinion, been around all the flat Earth
All the
forums,
old
and
school bits. I mean, I
put
don't think
out
he's
some,
ever been to the
Nobody
Discord
asked me
guys.
anything.
sent out some questionnaires and things like that.
Elder Bear, were you talking about me?
Yeah, we know you're going, Rob.
they've seen of
I'm not
watching
going.
Witsit
They
Gets
wouldn't
It
let me take
and
the
all
flight.
these videos put out by these two gentlemen. And so anyway, I love hearing opinions from people and getting all of these ideas, but it's just kind of hard to process everything. So I've got people telling me that, you know, Jaron and they're like, Will, Jaron and Austin are just dragging you along. They don't want to go to Antarctica. They're trying to find a way out that they can pin on you and blame it on you so that it doesn't look like they don't want to go, so that they don't end up looking like Flat Earth Dave. And then I've got other people, you know, saying different things. And so I don't believe that. I do think Jaron legitimately wants to go. I just think he doesn't want to go alone, which is fine and acceptable. I think Austin wants to go. So I'm not exactly buying that. But in fairness and in full transparency and full disclosure and trying to keep everything with the final experiment above board, you might recall that Jaron originally stated, he asked me privately if I would cover all of his expenses with this trip to Antarctica because he doesn't have winter clothing and there's going to be, you know, a flight to get to South America first and he's going to have to stay in a hotel in South America. And I told him privately, I said, yes, I'm going to cover all your expenses. Then he asked me, which I think again is completely fair, he asked me to make a public video stating that I would cover all of his expenses. He even threw out a dollar amount just in case it got that high. And I was like,
Does he have to return
why?
the clothes or
Like,
does
you
he get
know,
to keep them?
Don't know. I think he could do a share with Witsit. couldn't he?
Share,
They're about the
yeah.
same size, right?
Yeah, one stays in the tent, the other one gets the coat and goes out.
Sleeping bag or the coat.
Sleeping
and
bag. You have a
pants.
sleeping bag, I've got the coat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on a budget now. Got to spread it out.
Teamwork.
They can take turns.
Yeah, we've got to work
turns,
together. Teamwork.
Ryanair.
oh, you don't have a reason to not believe me or trust me. I already gave you my word. It's in writing. You could expose me by just showing our text message conversation. But then it occurred to me, once you state something publicly, there's a lot better chance that you're going to follow through and that you're not just bluffing. So when Jaron asked me to do that, I only thought about it for a few seconds and I was like, of course I can do that. And I will do that. I don't have any issues doing that at all. It just keeps everybody honest. So I made that video. And so now I've got this private conversation going with Austin. Austin has agreed to go, but his number one thing is he won't go unless I go. That's the latest condition. That's the latest stipulation.
Dave McKeegan
And so
doesn't
I
need
think
to go.
just
We'll
again,
trust
in fairness and keeping
Will,
all
right?
of this fully transparent with everyone, I asked Austin if he would make a public video and release it on his channel, stating that he would go to Antarctica as long as I cover his expenses and as long as I go, just to make sure. Again, I've got all these people in my ear telling me that these guys aren't serious,
Public
that they're not
video is
being
always the
genuine
best
about
way to
wanting to
do
go
it
to
on
Antarctica,
YouTube.
which I do not
Public
believe. I
YouTube
do believe they
videos.
want to go, but I think it would be good. I've already done it. I think it would be good for you,
So you lock
Austin,
it in.
to make a public video stating that. Now, again, people are going to say, Will, if Austin was serious, he would have already done the video. And I don't think that's true either. Many of you might not know. I've been
It
told,
might be rehearsing.
so I think it's on good authority, that Austin Witsit will be debating Professor Dave tomorrow. I've been involved
On the
in debates in the
Quarterings
past, not on this
On
topic,
Rumble,
not
I
on the
think.
shape of the earth, but I've been involved in, you know, theological debates and other debates, and it's nerve-wracking and it takes a lot of time to prepare. So I think it's highly likely that Austin has spent this entire week preparing for his debate tomorrow with Professor Dave, and the fact that he hasn't done this yet doesn't mean he doesn't
That
want to
takes some
go.
preparation.
So anyway, let's just give
an entire week at least preparing for a date with
Yeah.
Professor Dave. What? Can imagine it's been hard to. Oh, flat fact. Good. That's good. Well, I'll have a word with you in a minute, flat fact, when this is nearly finished.
Give him some time, and I expect he'll do that, and then we can kind of go from there. By the way, if you have not heard of this debate tomorrow with Austin Whitsitt and Professor Dave, what I'm being told is that it will be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, Saturday, June 15th, and that it will be on a YouTube channel called The Quartering, and The Quartering has no spaces in it if you want to find it on YouTube. And so if that debate's going to happen, which again, I believe it will, and I'm actually looking forward to it, it's on my calendar. I'd encourage people to watch. And if they're going to take questions or allow super chats or anything like that, hey, it's a good opportunity to ask both participants about the final experiment. Professor Dave was someone that we invited on the Globe side as one of the official participants. And of course, Austin is someone on the Flat Earth side that we invited. They are two of the top, in my opinion, defenders of their position. So this should be a great debate, and it will be a good opportunity for us to ask them questions, possibly ask them about the final experiment. So as promised, this is the latest update that I have. I hope everybody is still excited as I am. I'm sorry I don't have more of a definitive answer at this point, but it is what it is. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and just waiting to get the confirmations that we need. So anyway, I still am working on this every single day. We're pushing forward every single day. I know for a lot of people, 6 months from now, actually 6 months from today, is when the plane lands in Antarctica, December 14th. That probably feels like a long time for people. For me, it feels like nothing. I feel like I have so much work to do between now and then, so much planning that's got to go into this just to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. So I do something every single day for the final experiment, and I try to keep everybody updated as well, because what fun is it if you don't know what's going on? So that's the update for today. If you got any questions for me, feel free to leave a comment below. You can always reach me through our website. Once you contact me through our website, I'll respond. You'll have my email, and we can continue to communicate that way. So anyway, hope everyone has a great weekend. Look forward to seeing people at the debate tomorrow online between Professor Dave and Austin Whitsitt, and I will keep everybody informed as to how things are shaping out with Jaron Campanella and Austin Whitsitt and the final experiment this December. Take care.
Wow. So that's it, sorted. Everyone should be happy now.
Hopefully-
Off the press.
Flat Earth is
Hopefully,
sorted.
whoever's organizing this, I hope the name Global or Globe is in their name. That way, they have to wear it and it's smeared all over their winter clothing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
I
think
read
the Globy McGlobe face is streaming. He's crowdfunding to get a spot to go there as well. And like he says, could be 40 odd grand. So good luck to Globy McGlobeface. Because did he say how he was doing there? We might be able to ask him how he's doing for the funding there. I say get rid of Dave McKeegan. Because if it looks like Globy McGlobeface is going to be crowdfunding himself, and you'd trust Will, wouldn't you? Doesn't he look like a trustworthy fella? He's never lied, has he? Well, apart from that one time where he lied about the final experiment. But, you know, he apologised for that. So, flat fact, since you are in Australia, we heard today there was a guy called Ruhif. You might have heard of him. He's apparently in Australia. He's one of the wolf pack, actually. He said the sun rises and sets in south of east, was it? And south of west in Australia. Now, I mean, that sounds okay, doesn't it? But what I would imagine is that in its travel, it was always south of you. Wouldn't that be the way it happens? if you're looking for a 24-hour light in the sky in the Antarctic, wouldn't Australia be far enough for you to see it at least south of you always, wouldn't it? But I mean, I don't know. Oh, flat factory. So are you saying that it doesn't? I don't know. It's talking to Blue Marble as if that makes any difference. Nicer to see you back in the chat again, Blue. I notice. I'll just sit here and let you guys have that conversation. I don't suppose Blue's going to talk to me or anything. Hot mic there. He's just making a brew.
I think Blue should come in and have a 1v1 with them on the server. That would be fine. It's free for all Friday. You come in and chat it out in BC.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever heard of it this morning, was Ruhif saying that it was. He was talking to... Who was he talking to? Dawn, was it? No. Apocryphon. Because all the flat earthers obviously have different ideas about these sort of things. But all we're really interested about is what happens in reality. Yeah. Is the sun always south in December of you when it rises and sets? Or does it go north? I can only go off what the sun does here, and I'm trying to imagine it's somewhere else, but I can't. Like, that's the hard part, right? You can only imagine what you know about the sun. And I don't think it proves anything, but apparently to some people where it starts and where it ends should be measured with the compass. I thought it was east and west, to be honest. It's one of the definitions of east and west, isn't it? Of where the sun rises and sets, to my understanding. Who knows all about it? I don't know. I don't get why the flat earthers and the globe earthers come into the chat. Not this VC. Obviously, they don't want to talk in here, but they'll talk in the text chat amongst themselves about shit that we're talking about. But it makes no sense because they're just talking to each other within the false dichotomy. Really weird, isn't it? It's like the false dichotomy keeps going on over there and says, don't mind us. We're just discussing the false dichotomy over here. So we've got a game coming out at PAX Day. Anybody's interested in getting into a MMO at the grassroots level. We're going to be sort of play testing it or whatever, but that starts on Tuesday. I'm obviously going to attempt to sell, like, see, we've got a few proofs. Got some proofs in reality. that lead by extension to obviously not flat. So we've got obviously the proof of not flat, which helps you understand what a straight line is and a plane is, and that's all inbuilt with what we call realizing Euclid. So there's an understanding that the geometric proofs within mathematics, the foundations of mathematics, are carried into reality. That's the realizing Euclid. But along with that also, right, we have this idea, because we've now got a proof, we can build lemmas from these simple proofs that we have that help us understand that the globe is a dogmatic model. Now, in that statement, it's obvious that you can, if you can prove something, then you can definitely prove a dogma. Because the thing about a dogma is there is no proof. And if there's one thing that logic is good at, and that's proving an impossibility. And if something's dogmatic, it's dogmatic for that reason, that there is no proof. So by the clever use of logic, we can prove the globe to be dogmatic. And obviously we can prove that it's not flat. So with two different proofs within logic that help you understand that this is a false dichotomy that we're all in. I don't know what the sun's latitude. So that's still north. Would it? Because I suppose it'd have to. Would it? Could it still be north and be 24 hours? Is that possible for it to stay? I don't know. Depends what you imagine your model can put up with. I can't even imagine the model to start off with, so I'm lost. I only live in reality, and I have an understanding that north, south, east and west are perpendicular. But that's just me. Maybe other people have other ideas of things. Appears nobody really wants to talk about it. Should I find that short video for us to go over? Dogmatician. Proofless dogmatician. That grey. Okay, here we go. I'll have to swap it over for you guys. Change windows. This is a little chat we had the other day. Globe dogmatician. Betty?
I didn't know who it was.
I don't know how long it take him a bit to come in.
Whatever it is. See, so I asked my daughter who's doing physics, and she has learned about it. She's been taught about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Can you hear me?
yeah, hey baby. And so I think honestly that something to do with that at the time, I just didn't take any of it in at all. It's like it didn't even exist for me.
We were talking about physics.
It's really interesting.
I think to start off with.
Press the symposium button by mistake. I hadn't actually mentioned. I have to go shortly.
No, I mean, what brings you back around to the server on the level?
You mean in general?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm coming towards the end of a project, so I thought I'd.
Was that your book?
See what I could see. That's the book. Yeah. Correct.
Nice. You know, the globe proof. Have you got any of that, or is that just us? Just us.
What do you mean the globe proof?
Well, I mean proof of globe. I mean,
What would that be?
Well, you're the logician. I know we
I'm not
jokingly call
you. Said...
See, this is Beddy, right? He's just wrote a book about flat Earth and globe. I thought it was something to do with that, and he's claimed to be a logician. We do call him the proofless logician, and this is him being completely flummoxed by being asked whether he has any globe proof. Surprising that, considering he's the only guy that's claimed to have been a logician. And he gets upset about it now. The proofless logician.
No, you said the few months ago.
The proofless dogmatician.
Right. Okay. You said I wasn't a logician. Remember?
Well, yeah, like I say, you're proofless.
Yeah.
So that doesn't. You can't really.
You actually
can't
said
really
I wasn't.
Be a logician without any proof, can you?
Right. So there's no point asking me.
Well, I know, yeah, because you haven't got any. I mean, that's obvious. I said, like, you haven't got any, but we have. Like, we're the only ones with this proof of globe.
Yeah, so I asked, so what is that?
What, the proof of
what
the
is your proof
globe?
of the globe?
Well, it's dogmatic, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. You remember when you came and you look, we called you Beddy because that's what Rumpus called you.
Yeah, I remember
that.
That
was because it was Bedford levels, right?
That's right, yeah.
So, the proof, dogmatic proof, is the simultaneous below. I know Rumpus was only going one way, right? But that's why we called it a reciprocal Rumpus pulsating experiment.
Yes. I'm not sure I entirely understand that, but why is it dogmatic? Because dogmatic normally means someone who asserts something without any sort of evidence or proof.
Yeah. That's
so you can't have a dogmatic proof, can you?
Well, I don't know.
If it's a proof, it's not dogmatic. If it's dogmatic, it's not a proof.
It could be proof of the dogma, right?
Oh, I see. Well, then it wouldn't be dogma anymore, would it?
What if it was proof of the dogma? Well, no, because people would still believe the dogma, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that doesn't stop it from being dogma, does it? It's just like once you know the source of the dogma, then...
Well, dogma, I'm just looking at the dictionary definition, something considers an established position or a belief or body of beliefs concerning faith, which are taken on faith. So, if you provide evidence for something, then, or proof of it, it's not on faith anymore,
like
is it?
level being horizontal.
What about, sorry,
proof.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, proof. If you had proof that level was horizontal, then surely any other claims to the contrary would be proved dogmatic, right? Wouldn't they? So then it
They
would
would if there
be
was
based entirely upon faith.
if there were a proof of the equipotential surface being horizontal, then yeah, but I don't know what that proof is.
No, because you're the proofless. Do you have a proof of not that then? Just because you don't have
Well, there's
a proof
evidence.
of that.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
thing.
There's evidence. There's considerable evidence. If an equipotential surface is horizontal or is a plane, right? Let's just go back to that. I think I tried to get you to agree, but not sure you did. If level is horizontal, then that is equivalent to the claim that the surface of equal potential is planar. You agree with that, right?
Well, why is that equal? What are you making that equivalent?
No, a surface.
Yeah, but why? The question is, why are you making an equivalence of that?
I wish you wouldn't.
We're talking
wish you
about.
wouldn't.
Go on.
Sorry, I'm going to go now because you're just interrupting me, and I don't like being interrupted.
Okay.
So, farewell. Have a good evening.
All right. See you later. Thanks for popping in.
See you.
Anytime, Betty.
He's a stroppy shit.
So there you go. Think I could use that. I think I could use that at the beginning of the globe proof of globe. I think I might be able to use a few bits of it, I think. If you could prove a dogma, i.e. something that's so ridiculous that has to be taken as like a reducto ad absurdum that gets taken on as part of the model. Would that not be a dogmatic proof? There's a chance. A contradictory position that must be taken, both sides of it. Would that be proof of a dogmatic belief? Sounds like something you'd want a false dichotomy to hide, to me. But I mean, what would I know? Just a poor, humble student of logic. What's going on in the chat? Who just left? Good evening, everyone. Anybody's got any topics you want to discuss, pop them in the chat. We'll have a go at doing our best. Or I will. Oh, that's what I got, isn't it? I don't know whether I got another message back from him or not. Let me see. We've got a few statements. Betty did this as well. I had to put it on the website. He says, this is Betty. Why on earth do you think that a radius is horizontal? Question mark. He asks his own questions first, I think. Why on earth do you think that a radius is horizontal? He says. Question mark. And then he answers it. A radius is always perpendicular to a horizontal, says Betty. What do you reckon to that? The only one that I know usually of perpendicular to horizontal, and that's vertical. But Betty, I think Betty might have got confused between a radius and a vertical. Perhaps, I don't know. It seems to have done, you know, words. Or unless that's like a severe case of model affliction. Maybe that one of the things that, you know, once you get that deep into the model affliction, you might, you know, lose the identity of a vertical and imagine that it's called a radius. Maybe it's beta level, whatever, some level that we don't understand yet. Maybe talking in secret code with stuff. Maybe it's just globe logic, right? He may just have been nutsacked. Who knows? A radius is always perpendicular to a horizontal. Don't know if that's like, you know, a way of saying that balls don't roll when they're on a horizontal surface. But like, you couldn't really say that all of the radiuses. I mean, what happens if your circle's vertical? Like, you can't have all of the radiuses being perpendicular to a horizontal, can you? Sort of mixed up world would you live in? All of the radiuses perpendicular to a horizontal. That's messed up. Don't even attempt it. Like, don't even attempt to put your mind in that position. It just confuse people. It sounds like something that would do really well in a nonsense song. Might be. A radius is always perpendicular to a horizontal. That'd throw you off, right? Your brain just shuts down. It can't even comprehend what it is. Can anybody make any sense out of that statement? Because you can imagine the radiuses being on the horizontal plane, i.e. the circle lying within a horizontal plane. But does that make the radiuses perpendicular to horizontal? Or does it just mean that they're in the horizontal plane? I mean, they can't be both in the horizontal plane and perpendicular to horizontal. That wouldn't make any sense. But what's the other options? There just isn't any. It's just nonsense. And for this Betty to imagine that he's coming round here trying to tell us that he's a logician. He's writing books. It's mad. It's mad. In fact, what you have to say, and you know, in my limited experience of talking to nutcases, this sort of thing is it's like a magic spell, because your brain doesn't know what to do with it. Your brain tries to make sense out of certain things, and when it's faced with so much nonsense, it doesn't do anything. It just shuts down. And you think about it, the amount of times you were sat at school and the teacher was saying something, and it just didn't, your brain didn't engage. And you might have thought that was something wrong with you while you were learning this sort of stuff. It might still happen. It might still happen when you're talking to people. They say things and it just doesn't go in. It might be because they're talking nonsense. And you can't, your brain just can't do anything with it. Can't make any sense out of it. But then the danger is that if that's all you ever see and you don't ever have any chance of stepping outside of it to find that sense, the reason, and then could you be taken over by it? Could you do it to fit in? There's loads of social experiments about things like that. People just going along with the crowd. Maybe that's what they want people to do. Maybe lower the IQ, easier to herd people, get them to do what you want, less critical thinking. Tis globe. Ian, like, common sense disproves the globe, but I mean, the globe is what you imagine it is. So you have to imagine that it's something that isn't related to reality somehow. And that, I don't know whether that's like a shocking thing to people, because they imagine the globe to be reality. And not a lot of them actually imagine circles and stuff. I mean, they don't, most people don't imagine north, south, east and west both being circles. They just don't. People don't imagine that a horizontal's a circle because they just don't know. They don't know that's one of the contradictions that you have to take on if you're going to take on one of these models. So their globe isn't the same as the people that are in this arena. In fact, everybody's globe is their own. You've constructed it yourselves. Probably something to do with like early childhood. People handing you a model, you making it yourself, you constructing everything around it. TV's helped, right? All of those movies and stuff. Everybody links those sort of things together. There's not much you can do about it. Everybody's always going to have it. So I don't see the use in trying to fight against something that everybody's got. Because you're never going to replace it. You can't give them anything to replace it with. You've only got reality to start off with. And that's what they imagine their globe is. Reality. So you can't take it away from them and then say, yeah, here's reality. It's half of the trick. I mean, the trick within this fantasy arena is to try and make people imagine that reality is one of two models, neither of which are real. It's a false dichotomy. You've got reality to start off with. Why does somebody need to give you something else to say, not that? Look at this over here. It's not that. And you're going, well, I know, I just live in reality anyway. Yeah, they're pushing it. But still, people imagine it as what it is. Like, it's hard work to point out, right? But when you see a globe, you see that toy on a desk. Most people don't actually think they live on that. It's the same as flat earthers, right? Flat earthers don't actually think they live on flat. It's just that they have to associate the words with it. They get upset when you say it's not actually flat. Well, it's the same as the globe people, right? When you say you don't actually live on that, you know, and they'll go, I know, I don't live on that. Exactly the same thing. Yeah, that's right. They also did put out an entire album. Don't know if anybody actually listened to it. Did anybody actually listen to that free album that U2 gave out? I know I didn't. People love the Globe. You never get away from it. It's like the biggest sponsorship thing that there is. Imagine how many things have living on it. On the back of it. You'd never get away with it. There's loads of stuff. You can't have space without a globe. Space is big business. The real space. Just the distance between physical objects. But, I mean, if you want to imagine it's something else, then there's a lot of money in that imagination. Sells. Entertainment. Sun doesn't go, let me get this from Pop Fact. The sun doesn't go way down south, just like it doesn't go way up north. The sun only gets to the North Tropic Line and the South Tropic Line. That's not how you tell it's bigger on the out. That's not how you tell it's bigger on the outside. I don't know. So the sun would always be in the north. Is that what we're saying? The point is, the sun always in the south at the North Pole? I don't know. I can't even imagine. Don't know why anybody would be bothered what the lights in the sky do, to be honest. But the final experiments does seem to have brought a fair bit of conversation amongst I don't know why, I don't want to seem bad, but you know, the lower tier flat earthers, the cannon fodder, let's say, of flat earth, all the generals and all of that are all the guys on the YouTube channels and stuff. Has anybody got anything else they want to talk about? Anyone got any other topics or anything? Come on. There's got to be some other things people want to talk about. Can't just be me trying to sell a globe proof. Nobody was interested in the not flat proof. Nobody was really interested in the straight line within a plane proof. Proof of level being horizontal, not really that interested in it. So most of the proofs that we've got, you know, the optical one that horizon doesn't drop, but rises of your head, so enough so you can get and stand under the horizon, which to me, I thought that should have been a bit, but I guess, you know, there's seeing something and then the reasoning part about what happens afterwards. And I always thought that, I mean, even though I was the one in the picture, when I saw it afterwards, realizing that the horizon is above my head, sort of goes to show that it can't really be dropping in the way that people imagine it does, because it never rose to the crosshairs. The horizon always stayed below the crosshairs, but as I walked away, I was able to get underneath it, and I don't know, that just sounds strange, but I guess it doesn't really mean anything to anybody else that's not willing to make it or let it mean anything. So the gadget's still around, Ian. He got a job. I think he sorted himself out, hopefully. Said he was doing a fair bit more drawing. So he's around somewhere. He might just be listening. But yeah, he popped back in a little bit ago. That gadget would have been a good guy to have on the PAX day. Trying to drum up some support. On the level, we're going to be going gaming. Making a shift to gaming. So I'll be chopping some trees down and stuff like that. Starting Tuesday. Yeah, he's been around. Not like Rumpus. Rumpus has gone missing completely. Or do you reckon Rumpus is still around text chat trolling? Because you couldn't obviously hide behind a text chat. Sock account. It could be anyone. Like Jesse Kozlowski. I think he's still around. Maybe Brenda. Oh, what have we got here? Has somebody been using ChatGPT about the sky is blue? Wow, that's some good work. That's took a lot of work, that, typing into ChatGPT about the sky being blue. I've also got... I've been asking people for how we change a vertical distance. So there's this thing, right, called celestial navigation, right? And certain flat earthers have this proof. I think we went over it. They measure an angle. And then they make an adjustment to an angle. Now, that adjustment to the angle is based upon what they call height of eye. And that's a distance. That's a vertical distance from the water to where you are going to be. And it's a measurement, a vertical measurement on the ship as you're going out to sea. Now, the question I've been asking of these people recently, the flat earthers particularly, is how they make that change from a vertical distance to an angle. And the flat earthers, well, they banned me, so they wouldn't have to have anybody ask them this question. Because Nathan Oakley got really upset about the use of when I told Ruhith that you can do fuck all with an angle. And well, this is the reason why. All of, you know, I've had all of these things for all of these reasons, right? I don't know whether you can see that. But there's like an Alberuni type thing here. And this is how they get that angle. And it's based on a distance to the horizon, strangely enough. Just like QE told everyone all of those years ago when he was making that fallacious argument. But really, he just wanted a delivery method to convince the flat earthers that there's a distance to the horizon, measurable with a calculation. And that's what's going on here. So the globe guys, I mean, they know that you can do fuck all with an angle unless you've got a model and you want to play a little bit of geometric trickery and the shifting of an angle, internalizing of an angle, a geometric trick. They've been doing it for years. So the globe guys know how it's done. The flat earthers, not so sure. I don't know whether anybody, 10th Man or, you know, any of the leading flat earth proponents have ever actually told the flat earthers about how this little angle trick happens. Like I say, flat earthers have banned me, so I can't ask the question. I don't think they know. And obviously the globe guys do. They know. But they don't want to talk to the flat earthers about it because it sort of exposes a little bit of a trick that they've got. And it's a mutual trick. They're playing a game of false dichotomy where they both need each other to survive. Because really, people should just be talking about reality. But they're not, because they're talking about two models that are easily falsified. But they want to make you believe that that's all there is, because you've just got to talk about those two models. Otherwise, no conversation occurs. I think most people have been accustomed to playing a game. It's all keywords and reactions. Ian, I'd say maths is actually reality. It's the fundamentals. People can trick you with it. They can play tricks on you with it. They can rely on your ignorance of it. But maths is how we describe reality. Fundamentals of math is geometry. It's logic. That's definitely reality. You can't be taking that out of the realm of reality. I mean, mathematics does have a bearing on reality, and it's provable within reality. So you've got to have it. If you've become accustomed to saying something like maths isn't reality, you're dismissing all of the logic that you're going to use to prove anything. If you give up maths, then you've not got much to deal with. I don't know. They've probably already won if you're willing to give up mathematics. If you've been tricked into thinking that mathematics is numbers and equations, well, you can be led to believe it doesn't relate to reality, but you've got to take that straight line on. Can't be giving that up. Can't be giving the unit up. If anybody, hopefully most people have done the Realising Euclid course. Euclid in mathematics, logic and mathematics course. What was it? Mathematics and logic from Euclid to modern geometry. Hillsdale. I suggest everybody should have a go at that. I do a bit of it still every now and again. Oh, we've got somebody who's keen on copy and pasting ChatGPT in the chat. They didn't do arithmetic first. That's the quadrivium. Who have we got a new globe logician in? Dealing on definitions. I did that today. Did anybody hear Nathan Oakley? It was the last show for John. Refracted curvature. Nathan's going to be left with no one to tell him it's a horizontal plane. So if you think you can help out. But they did it again today. They did. Do you know what a lie is? Can you define lie? Tell me what a lie is. And whenever anybody replies with any sort of answer, then the reply is, you don't even know what X is or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But they do that all the time. That's good. So, that's a sophist trick. You have to keep an eye out for that. I think I put music before astronomy because I consider astronomy a mix of music and geometry, as in the art of building cathedrals to use the music from within. The geometry and the music go together. And they've eventually changed it, obviously, to mean something else. Yeah, you use the unit. You have to have an understanding of units in order to be able to understand the geometry, but geometry is more fundamental. You would have already had an idea of the grammar and the logic beforehand. Geometry, being pure logic, is probably a better teaching tool of logic, and that's within the trivium. So I believe they would already have a fundamental understanding of the basics of geometry, it being the way to teach grammar for the definitions of things, and then the logical process, and obviously rhetoric and how to talk about those sort of things for future quadrivium learning, where they introduce number and, you know, the furthers of geometry, the more complex stuff. Anybody got any other topics? No, what time is it?
The world's worst brake job.
Right, well, I need to nip away for a minute, so do you want to hear some more music? Some music. Share the screen with you guys. Only 4 minutes. This is the new proof of globe, proof of Tis globe. If you'll be able to find it on the website. Enjoy. I'm going to be started doing the video out for this. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Everyone knows tis globe. It has been shown that with logic, everything and anything can be linked to tis globe. Geometry axioms 4, 5, and 6. Therefore, all existing proofs within reality can also be used to prove the real globe by extension of these basic simple axioms that everyone knows to be unquestionably true. Real-world practical uses with logic can be shown thus. In the real world, it is thought to be known as tis globe. Yet anything that can be proved to be true in the real world can be used by progression of these universally changing axioms to be proved by axiomatic extension of the real globe. What follows is some logic proof of globe. Logic states if G then G, and if G and G then G, therefore it can be proved directly by and globe, and globe, and globe, and globe, and globe, or indirectly by, if not flat, then globe, it's not flat, therefore tis globe, or if it's not flat, then it's not flat, then it's definitely globe. We can safely say it's not flat, therefore tis globe. Rest assured that we will continue to progress the proofs of globe. Globus trollens, the globe that affirms by affirmation. Globus trollens, if tis G, then not flat, therefore tis globe. So starting with the premise tis globe, we can say, if the reality we live in is tis globe, tis G, then the reality we live in could not be flat, tis not flat. It's been proven by man that the reality we live in is not flat, tis not platform. Therefore, the reality we live in is tis globe, tis globe. Confirmation through globus trollens, globus balance, a globe reality we live in has to be tis globe. Tis globe, confirmation by Globus Ballens. Globus Ballendo Trollens. The globe that affirms by denial of affirmation. If that, then not that, not that, not therefore that. Starting with the major premise that tis globe, we can say if that reality we live in is tis globe, then the reality we live in can't be not that, not that, not that. Through logical deduction, since it's clear to everyone that ever existed in the known universe that tis globe, the natural conclusion is that tis globe cannot be at the same time both be that tis globe and not that, not tis globe. Therefore that must be that tis globe. Rest assured that we will continue to progress the proofs of globe. Be at peace with your globe. Therefore that must be that this globe. Rest assured that we will continue to progress the proofs of globe. Be at peace with your globe. Therefore stop living in this globe. Be at peace with your globe.
Easiest way to
give
get
me 1
rid of,
second.
yeah, get rid of a few people with that. Tis glow.
Therefore,
Yeah,
be at peace with your globe.
that's Globjic. That's how you prove the globe.
That's
Right.
funny shit, man. That's awesome.
There's not much commitment, right? Coming into this arena, I've always said, right, it's not flat. So you come into the arena, somebody's been calling you a child abuser. So you wander over to someone and say, hey, you realise that, you know, if you say that level's horizontal, these guys call you a child abuser. And they say, flat earther. And you go like, no, it's not flat. Okay. So they're gone. They don't want to help. They don't want to worry about it. They're not bothered about saying that level's horizontal or finding a proof for that. But then you start talking to the globe guys, the ones that, you know, ones that are calling you all of these names, and you realise they're only doing it because they're lashing out. They've got no proof themselves. Got no proof of anything. No. I've already got this one
Yeah,
out
you scared
earmarked
them.
of proof of tis globe. Ian, but that's a good idea. I will do one called Flat Beat. Yeah, that'll be a good one. Yeah, you realise the globe guys have got no proof either, so you find a way to, you know, manipulate. They've been doing it for years, haven't they? Find out about, you know, some guys, and they've made up this imaginary geometry, and then they managed to hide it a bit. So obviously we make imaginometry. It's the most extensive non-Euclidean geometry there is. It's just about as far away from Euclidean geometry as you could get. So it's the most extensive, as in it's like the complete opposite. It's the most not Euclidean geometry there is. But it's also, you know, the most best defined. It's got axioms, postulates. You won't find those in any other imaginary geometry. There's only imaginometry that does that sort of shit. So once we've done that, to, you know, work out how we can manipulate geometry to help us out with globe, then the only thing you've got to do then is realize that, you know, logic, you can't use logic. Like they're allergic to logic. There's no way you could get the globe the dogmatic globe past logic, because logic, you get proof from logic. You can't have something so dogmatic involved with a proof thing. I mean, that wouldn't work. So you've got to make a new logic up, and it's called globgic. And in the same way that imaginometry is as far away as you can get from Euclidean geometry, then globgic is just, pure sophistry. In the similar way, just the opposite of what logic actually is. But nobody will notice nowadays. It's 2024. Nobody uses logic now. In fact, you've seen what happens whenever you do try and use logic, formulate arguments. You've seen what happens. People just say, that's not an argument. John, refracted curvature, he's famous for saying that. That's not an argument. I mean, that's one of the best rebuttals yet. It's 2024. Got to deal with a false dichotomy. So we've found a way to prove the globe. Help them out. They think it's a joke. It might be. But it's the best that you're ever going to get. Us here at On the Level, we can prove the dogmatic globe. Proud of it. We've even got tests to do as well. Not only can we prove that level is horizontal, but we can also prove that it can't be. Because the globe says it can't be. So, I mean, wouldn't that be a dogmatic proof? It's like an actual proof that has to be dismissed because your dogma can't have proofs. Not allowed to have proofs. Got a dogmatic system. So you can therefore just dismiss any proof that's put in front of you. Can't be. Yeah. Eric gets it. See, that's how easy it is. Just rebut an argument like that. It's not an argument. You're just misusing words. All right, then Nathan went, yeah, good. Well done, John. Gonna miss you, John. He was nearly in tears today, poor Nathan. He got a bit of money for it, though. I heard. So, good on. Can Nathan survive without John? Who's going to tell him it's a horizontal plane? Who's going to rebut all of the arguments that come towards him? I suppose the mute button's going to be Nathan's best friend. It's pretty sad. But when you think of all of the conversations that we've had over the years, all of that material to go back over, because it was that early stuff where people actually wanted to come and talk. Quite funny times, really. But you think about it, back then there wasn't much chance for anybody to talk. What we used to find is that anytime we got a chance to talk, somebody had already come in and interject some model shit, some false dichotomy shit into any conversation where it was going anywhere. And now, look at it. It's just me talking shit. No, nobody to shut me up. We're going to have to learn to talk while we're playing games as well, aren't we? Do you know anybody? We're going to turn into a proof salesman. So we've got a proof of straight line within a plane. Do you reckon good proof, bad proof, scale of 1 to 10? What about a proof of globe? Where would that rank? You know, I don't want to like offer it up now, because otherwise, you know, it won't be worth anything. But how much would a proof of globe be worth, do you imagine, in this arena? Can they have a proof of flat? I mean, Nathan Oakley says he's got a proof of flat, and that's measuring an angle. How much would that be worth on the market, stock market?
Well, if you got a proof of globe, take it to David Weiss and get your 200 grand in Bitcoin. Stop fucking about.
Yeah.
Not you, Bev. I mean all the globers that say they have globe proofs.
No, I'm talking about me. Keep it quiet. We might just have done this, sorted it so we can have a proof of globe. So we can get that. So, but how much money would it be worth, right? Would it be worth more because Dave Weiss would have to give us some money? Would that be like the popular thing? You know, like, is the value of the proof by how many people see it, or how many, you know, how many people gain the proof? Like, where's the worth within all of this? Because the final experiment, like, he's spending £100,000, and what's it going to be worth afterwards? I mean, let's say he does get the sun in the sky 24 hours. How much would that be worth? Do you reckon he'd gain his 100 grand back? Do you reckon he'd be able to write a book or something? Make a documentary? Film crew? I mean, you'd expect them to have some sort of a thing going all the time. Do you reckon it could be they bought out the whole thing? It was like a Netflix exclusive. I don't want to put anybody off or anything, but you reckon that'd be a chance? Another behind the curve type thing. You didn't see it coming, or we did see you coming.
Interesting, the sequel.
Yeah. An interesting trip.
I'm sure he's going to maximize on his investment. He's a businessman, you know.
Yeah, I'm
Investor
sort
after
of
all,
thinking
and-
about, like, if he can have this thing about the lights in the sky proving something. I mean, what's that? I mean, we've got a proof of a straight line within a plane. We've got a proof of the dogmatic globe. We've got proof that the Earth's not flat. Well, we definitely didn't have 100 grand to spend. I've done that, done it. Yeah, I don't know. Is there a value that you could assign to a proof? I mean, he's definitely spending a lot of money in order to gain.
$100, you could probably prove it to yourself what reality dictates for a couple $100.
Well, it doesn't that depend
High
on
water
what it is
level.
that you think a proof is, and you know how you're going to achieve that proof. I mean, it's obvious that Will Duffy has sorted it in his head that the light in the sky proves something. But I mean, I don't have that understanding, so my proof wasn't leaning that way.
That makes me sad for everybody that accepts lights in the sky as a proof of anything. That makes me sad. When you could just spend a couple $100, buy a water level, which is a tube and a couple vials, and rent an auto level and see if there's any discrepancy between the two. Idiot.
You don't need a kitchen table these days. That's usually offers the most proof. Kitchen table.
Well, just measuring an angle that you don't even need to measure yourself. That seems like the best proof. It's the cheapest way of doing it. If you're after proof, then have a word with Nathan Oakley, because he's got the cheapest way for you to find a proof. We just need to work out like how to do it. I can't do the Nathan Oakley way myself. I've not studied. I don't know how long you have to study under the masters in order to gain these things, but it does seem like that, doesn't it? You have to study under the house of FED to gain this.
Do your apprenticeship, yeah.
Yeah, to master the.
You must accept their tutelage.
Yeah, I guess one of the problems is that answering back. Like, you maybe have to do certain things before you're allowed to answer back and ask questions. Like, maybe once you get past the point of asking questions, then that's when you realise that you shouldn't ask questions. Then you learn to not ask questions. Maybe that's what it does, right? They're training their students to not ask questions by admonishing us for asking questions. And that's the way they teach their students to not ask questions about the so-called proofs of not measuring angles. It's totally fitting, though, for flat Earth, isn't it? That you don't measure an angle to prove the flat Earth. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, it was that guy who was talking about, when we asked him about what if he had a proof, and he said that his table was flat, and you say, well, how can you prove that? He says, I just had to look at it, and I can see that's good enough for me. And today he denied he ever said that. Denied he ever said that you can draw a straight line on a piece of paper, and then if you fold it, curve it slightly, then it becomes it's not a straight line. It's still a straight line, but it's curved. And he denied that he'd said that, and then he was asking me about, well, how could you prove parallel? So I said, well, I just put one kitchen table on top of the other, and that's it. And just look at it. That proves parallel.
This person you're talking about, had he been drinking?
No. Well, I don't know. He sounded. One of the other guys had been drinking, yes. And Maybe he'll wake up in the morning and regret the $200 he dropped in the Discord or the YouTube. Maybe think, oh, I only meant to say $20, but yeah, that wasn't him.
So they do have a habit of. There's a lot of people who've been drinking, and I think it's not only, because they're lonely or whatever. It just helps them out talking, because people can't half talk a load of shit when they've been drinking, can't they? And if you've ever been in any Discord channels, then likely you know what we're talking about. Normally, the most vocal are the people that have been drinking the most.
Yeah, I was in the politics server yesterday, and there was some drunk new guy. He's probably in his 20s, young kid, just hammered.
Yeah, Dutch courage, just to be able to talk to people. It's pretty sad, isn't it? I'm not allowed in there, Rob. They've banned us. They don't want us asking them questions about angles, even though the angle's their proof. Well, it's not their proof, it's Nathan's proof, but the flat earthers at 24/7 don't want to talk about flat earth proofs.
Yeah, they tend to just neglect me. They don't ban me or nothing, but they don't like me coming in there just telling people to buy a water level and rent an auto level and do this shit yourself. They kind of just ignore that argument.
I've noticed there's a lot of people.
They want to be handed a proof.
Yeah, they're talking about horizontal planes being parallel to the plane of the horizon. Or is that just over a flat earth debate? It's going to be coming, I think. I think everybody knows that in reality, right, you've got to be able to have a horizontal plane of reference. The question is, that's coming, like, for most people is, do you imagine that horizontal plane of reference proves flat earth? Or do you think it disproves a globe? Remembering that everybody knows that you can establish a horizontal plane of reference in reality. Does take me back to about 5 or 6 years ago when I was saying to Nathan and QE, but there's just a horizontal plane. Horizon's horizontal. A water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference. And it's dead funny because I can remember QE. When he left, he went, well, you fuck off with all of that sort of stuff. You stick to your level being horizontal shit. Just stay away from science. I thought that was really weird. But, that's flat earthers for you, isn't it? Once you know, most people don't know what it's like to be, in the arena, because most people are just around the outskirts. You might see people, texting and all of that. I mean, obviously, people are pushing messages to different people and all of that. There's not many people actually get to communicate and talk to people because it's quite a hard arena to communicate with people. Who's going to want to talk? So most people start communication with text, and eventually somebody wants to get into communicating with people, but then you listen to people talking, you think, oh, that's the sort of shit I want to get involved in, so I'll have a listen. And then I don't know, at what point do you decide that you want to go and join that conversation? Or do you always feel that, you know, everybody else is already saying everything that you would say anyway? What would be the use of me talking to anything? It's hard work, isn't it, to get to talk and communicate with people? And what's everybody wants to do that? It's a Friday night. Hairdresser stuff. No, I don't like being talked over. I'm leaving. Oh, Betty's back. Is he coming in? Do you want to come in? It's a Friday night. Come on, Betty. Grab yourself a port. I basically directed him to professional philosophers. Professional philosopher. That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? That'd be good, that. Getting paid for thinking about shit. Right, well, anybody got anything else you want to go over? Because it's getting about time to wrap it up, isn't it? I can't think of anything else. There's not much on the list for this week. Getting
Clusters.
What was that? What? Somebody say something or not? I don't think the parallels do meet at infinity. That's a lie. I can't see how parallels would meet at infinity. It's sort of like saying that the horizon rises to eye level. It's a nonsense statement. Particularly within Euclid, because I don't think Euclid ever states about infinity. He always has his planes bounded by lines. So Euclid's talking about what can be measured, not what can't. It does put limits on planes. He puts limits on lines. And then says you can extend a line indefinitely, but it always has a limit. Anyone want to pick a track? No? Well, we're going to have a danger track, because I've got that programmed in. Oh, hopefully I've got it sorted in here. Danger and A Poor Emma. This one deserves a video as well, I think. So I think I'm going to be doing a video over the weekend, but it's going to be gaming. It's just going to be for PAX Day. Quick chat about you know, the stuff coming on that and how hyped we are for it. So don't worry about it. If you see us going live, it'll be for gaming, not for this stuff. Okay, so thanks for, and we'll be back over. Yeah, Danger, you're going to be singing. Join us again on Monday, I guess. Yeah, Monday, and then I've got a thingy on Tuesday. Yes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. See you Monday.
There's a model inside your mind which renders your senses blind to reality left behind. Paracosm, paracosm. So don't tell me straight lines are bent. I know what you represent. Contradictions are inherent. Hipporama, hipporama. Don't believe what the sophists say, for you may be led astray, and your reasoning shall decay. Shadow giants, casting monsters upon the wall, appear to be 10 feet tall, but it doesn't exist at all. Jabberwocky, Jabberwocky. Oh, don't you know? To educate means to lead one out of the cave. Don't be a slave. Whoa. There's a model inside your mind which dictates what you will find. So you better stick with your kind. Scientism, scientism. Now don't tell me straight lines are bent. I'm questioning your intent. You're affirming the consequent. Paralogy, paralogy. Oh, don't you don't be a slave. Whoa. poema. E poema, e poema. Jabberwocky, Jabberwocky.